Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Stacy and welcome to the start of my flower garden. So I decided I wanted to start documenting my journey with starting a cut flower garden. And the reason being is because I feel like while there are tons of great channels out there, and along the way I will be sharing some of my favorites. There are some great channels out there. There are some fantastic YouTubers that tell you and give you so much information about how to start your cut flower garden and how to harvest your cut flower garden, and they give you an overwhelming wealth of knowledge, and I've gotten so much information from them. I wanted to start documenting my journey for two reasons. One, for my own personal reference, so next year when I go to do this again, I can look back and say, oh yeah, that's right, that worked and that didn't work. And the second reason is because while there are tons of tutorials and videos out there, I personally feel like there is a lot of how to start things and how to harvest things, but I don't feel like there's a whole lot of in between. So I'm starting this a little early because I have already kind of started my flower beds. I live in Taneytown, Maryland. I'm a Zone 6 here. And it is, what is it? It's June 5th of 2024. So I have a couple things I have already started, and I will try and catch up everything that I've already done in this tutorial. So apologize, this first video might be a little lengthy because I want to kind of tell you guys what I've already done. And the truth is, I have already made mistakes, and that's okay. I can also tell you, as you can hear, I live near a farm. We have some farm animals ourselves. We have just under 2 acres here. So you will hear the occasional rooster crowing. I'm also next to a somewhat busy road here, so I apologize. I'm hoping the mic will kind of help you to be able to hear me and not so much the road noise and the animals and all the other things, but the reality is this is life here at my house. So I hope that you follow along in my journey. Full disclosure, I have no idea what I'm doing. No clue. I decided I was going to start a cut flower garden this year. By the way, our rooster's name is Duke, and he is making himself very well known right now. You will also meet Blue at some point. He is our house rooster, but he likes to come out and garden with me. So you will be meeting him at some point as well. Oh, bless me. So this is going to be very raw, uncut. This is my journey with starting my cut flower garden. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you maybe learn a few things. But I have been very much enjoying the past couple years the flower gardens around my house. I've really kind of dived into choosing flowers and everything I'm planting. You know, I'm really kind of researching everything I plant to make sure that it's going to work in our area, to make sure that I'm taking care of it properly. So I tend to, when I decide to do something, really dive in. So I was always a little heartbroken though, because the flowers are so beautiful outside and I wanted to cut them and bring them in the house, but then I didn't have the beautiful flowers going around the outside of my house to greet me when I come home from work every day. So I spent a good bit of time this year binge watching tons and tons of videos on doing my flower garden. And even though I watched tons and tons of videos and I thought I was doing things right, I can tell you I have already made mistakes. And again, that's okay. So I will share the mistakes I have made, and hopefully you can learn from them as well. So let's kind of dive in here. I decided I wasn't going to go small for my first cut flower garden. I am doing 3 rows that are 4 feet wide by 26 feet. So yes, they're kind of big. Again, we have just under 2 acres here. And the reality is I have tons of space that I could grow this if I wanted to. For now, this is just for my own personal use, to have flowers to enjoy in my home. I work in a quilting shop. that also has a cafe attached to it. So I'm really hoping to have an abundance of flowers to be able to take into work and have in the store. And just for friends and family. So this is strictly for now for personal use. And again, total rookie here. I don't know what I'm doing. I watch a ton of videos and I read a lot of books, and that's kind of what I'm going off of. So a couple weeks ago, I had my husband till our first 2 beds, and I will share them with you in just a few minutes here. And so the first mistake I made was I decided what flowers I was going to do. I decided I was going to do snapdragons, zinnias, dahlias, cosmos, and sunflowers. I said I'm going to start with 5 flowers that everybody keeps saying are super easy for my first year. And we had a local flower sale. We have a Union Mills Homestead was doing a flower sale, their Mayflower Market. And it was to actually help raise money to keep the homestead up and going. So I went to that and said, yep, I'm getting dahlias. I think I got, I'm trying to remember, I think I got dahlias there. I might have gotten some of my zinnias there. And then super excited from there, I went to one of our local nurseries. It's called Sweet Bay Farms. I absolutely love Sweet Bay. Their plant selection is amazing. Everything I've grown from them always does well. There's a gal there, I think her name's Andrea. She's so super helpful. I go in and say, hey, I've got this naked spot here. I want to put something in it. And, you know, she's great with recommendations. I had an aphid problem on my daylilies last year, and I took her in pictures, and she's like, oh no, your poor plant. And she helped me find a way to take care of the aphid situation. So that day I hit the Flower Mart, and I hit my local Sweet Bay, and I bought a bunch of plants. I bought a bunch of snapdragons, I bought some dahlias, and I bought some zinnias. So first mistake I made, and it wasn't until I was watching some additional videos after I planted these guys, I bought the wrong kind. No matter how many videos I watched prior to doing this, I somehow managed to miss the videos that said that there are cut flower garden ones and there are like home flower garden ones. So the snapdragons that I bought were more for home purpose. They're only going to grow a foot tall, if that. So in the long run, they are not going to serve my cut flower garden needs. It's okay. They're still doing very well. You can see some of them here. I will show you them a little closer. They're doing very well. And I'm actually going to transplant them to my front flower gardens in front of my house, where I have already transferred 3 of them to, and they're thriving beautifully. So my goal today is I am going to actually seed snapdragons that are for the purpose of cut flower growing. I have done my research hopefully ahead of time that I'm going to be doing that correctly. And the reason I'm not fretting all these mistakes is because it's the beginning of June. I have plenty of time to still do things from seed and put them in the ground. Because a lot of the videos I watch, a lot of these people do the succession planting. So, and they're planting things clean up into July. So I'm really not fretting it. They'll be a little delayed. My cut snapdragons are going to be a little further out than I anticipated, but I'm not fretting it. It's going to be okay. I'm going to move these guys to somewhere where I can still appreciate them and get going on what I truly need. Same thing with my zinnias. I really did not buy a tall growing variety. They are also doing fairly well. Another goal I have for today, I've got this nice cloudy day, so it's not super hot, and we're expecting rain later in the day, so I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get these seeds into the ground. That way they'll get a nice rain this afternoon, and we'll see what happens. So let me kind of share with you what I've done so far, and we'll go from there. So here is the overall view of what I have going already. So another mistake I have made is I have things spaced way too far apart. I went with the spacing that was recommended on the plants. or on the seed packets for some of the things that I've done from seed. And again, these plants were more so for home garden use, not for cut flowers. So the spacing is way too far apart. These are the snaps that I purchased, but you can see they're all doing fantastic. I still have been cutting them back as though they were a cut flower, which has helped them to really get nice and bushy. So you can still see these guys are doing fantastic. Beautiful coloring in them. They're happy, they're healthy. And again, look at all the buds on this one. I'm not overly concerned. They're gonna get transplanted. The ones I already transplanted are doing very well. So the ones I transplanted were in these 3 spaces here. I actually purchased these from a local, actually it's called Local Homestead. And these are cut flower varieties. So I went ahead and took out 3 of the smaller snaps, moved them out front, they're doing fantastic, and put in these snaps that are for cut flower purposes. And then as I start from seed, my cut flower snaps, those are then gonna fill in these spaces here. And you can see I have gone ahead and pinched these off. That is one of the recommendations for a lot of these cut flowers, to make sure they grow nice and bushy the way we want them to. Actually, these guys have not been pinched off yet. So we're gonna, oh, it is, it's pinched off here. So when I purchased these plants, they already had big, tall, beautiful snaps on them, and they had not been pinched back. So I have gone ahead and pinched them back to get them going. Over here, we have the dahlias I have started. And I apologize, I should have looked up the varieties on these ahead of time, but my dahlias so far are doing fantastic. I can show you samples of some of the blooms. I have already cut them this morning, but these guys are doing great. The dahlias are taking off and doing really well. I will show you the little bouquet that I have done out of some of these so far. Down here are my cosmos. I did get the cosmos correct. These are good cut flower varieties. I have started these from seed, and again, I will let you know the varieties at a later date and time. You do notice though that some are larger, because there are some areas, you can see right here and right here, that the seeds did not take. So I have gone in and put seeds back in that spacing to go ahead and fill these in. And I'm not sure, I have to check and see what this variety is in the front row. I have the tallest variety in the back, because our sun comes up from this way. So as the sun comes around, I have set it so that my tallest varieties should be growing in the back. I can't remember which variety this is, I'm gonna have to look, but it seems to be struggling with the seeds germinating. So one more thing I will say about when I started my beds. And this is one place where I did not do all the things that were recommended, but it worked out okay. So I got lucky on this one. So my husband tilled the beds for me, and as we were tilling them, we took all of the clumps of grass and everything out and dumped them in our chicken run. So unfortunately, the ending result you can see is that the bed is kind of lowered a little bit. But we made sure to kind of at least mound the dirt, and we have the kind of like a channel going around it. And I was really honestly concerned about it, but clearly it has really not been an issue. Everything's draining well, and it's working out very nicely. This is actually kind of lovely, and I truly cannot wait till it is, you know, abundant and full. Another thing I did not do, I did not use any sort of compost, and I did not use any kind of fertilizer. I got lucky, and I know that. I'm going to say I got lucky. However, I do know that this property that we live on at one time was a sheep farm. So that's my neighbor's property over there. She has goats and emus and all kinds of other animals. This is our property over here as well. So as you can see, I have plenty of space should I decide to expand this little venture here. I know that this land was at one point in time a sheep farm, so touch wood, anything I have ever put in the ground here has always done very well. Case in point here is my vegetable garden.
And you can just kind of briefly see we have some cucumber growing in. Zucchini always does very well for us. So I know I should have done the soil testing. I know I should have, done all those things. But with the knowledge that anything we've ever put in the ground here, it is always done very well. So far, touch wood, things are going well. So that is one of the things that I didn't do that I should have done, but so far has not posed a problem. I am succession planting little crops of corn here. Don't mind the weeding. I have been focusing more on the flowers, and I haven't had as much time to get the weeding done in here. So that is one mistake I made, but so far it's proving to be okay. So that is the first bed. The second bed, the intentions for this was to be nothing but zinnias. And again, you can see I have them spaced way too far apart. But in general though, these guys are doing well. You can see we've got lots of great buds coming up off of them. You can see I am starting to get some buds that are pushing longer, which is nice. And I will say, I have already come out here and taken quite a few blooms off. Our stems are not quite yet to the point that I can get, nice big bouquets out of them. However, I have a little mason jar and I use little wine glasses, and I still bring them in and enjoy them. Now, the one problem I am having, which you can see with these guys here, and oddly enough, this started when I brought 3 plants in from one of my local gardens, and I can't remember which, but I have mold. I have a bacterial infection here. Now, I have been treating these guys. They're actually doing another treatment tomorrow. I've been using the Captain Jack's Copper. This one, I'm honestly going to say, is probably done. I will probably pull that and get rid of it. This one, I'm not going to necessarily pull yet because we still have some new clean growth growing. I might let it go and see if it's okay. You can see it's not really affecting a little bit of spot on the leaves here on this guy. But again, I think with treating it, I think it's going to be okay. Everything that's been coming up since I started treating it looks okay. These guys seem to be doing okay. And again, this one here, these 3 in the middle, these were plants that I brought in recently. And yeah, they are not too happy. Again, I might just take this one out as well. Oh, heck, now I'm thinking about it. I might just take all 3 out because I want to come into this bed, drill more holes, and put more seed in today. So I think to err on the side of caution, since I'm putting more things in, I might just take those out. And then we have some more down here that are also doing fairly well. Now the third bed here is currently just dirt. So this is one of my goals today. This is going to be the sunflower bed. Yay! So, and again, my sun comes up here in the morning, goes over and sets on this side of our house. So I put these sunflowers in the back row, again, just so they're not shading anything. I also have a nice wide spacing between my rows because my husband was adamant about he needed to be able to get the lawnmower between the rows. So this row today, I think I'm going to go ahead and plant our sunflower seeds in, again, because we're going to get a nice rain this afternoon, so that will water them in nicely. Okay, so that's kind of a little tour of where we're at now. Those are things I've done wrong. Those are the things that seem to be working out. And now I just move forward. I'm truly just, this is all about the process for me. Something else I'm going to be adding, hopefully here soon, because as far as I know, I have everything to do it. I am going to be adding a drip irrigation system to both the flower beds as well as my vegetable garden. We've been pretty blessed so far. We've had, we may have 2 or 3 days of sunshine, but then we get a nice day of a rain. So far I've really not had to do any watering to anything here. I keep an eye on the forecast. If I see rain is in the forecast, even if things are looking a little like they need it, if I see it's coming like later today, then I'm not going to come out and water anything. So that's where I'm at. So today's goal, I want to get the
the sunflower row planted. I want to go ahead and get seeds in trays for new snapdragons. I'm going to do those in trays versus direct sowing them, because all the videos I'm seeing say to really doing them and starting them in trays works better. So we're going to give it a go. Zinnias are supposed to be able to go straight into the ground with no problem, and I do have a few flower pots that I'm going to put around the outside of my house that I have gone ahead and direct sowed zinnias into, and they're doing, they're only yay tall so far, but they're doing great so far. So I have no issues with that. I'm going to drill a bunch of holes in the zinnia bed and just plop a bunch of seeds down, and we're going to see what happens. So if you decide to come along with me for this journey, welcome. I hope you learn something in this, you take something away, because this is all a learning process for me, and I just decided I was going to share my journey so that you get a true perspective from somebody who truly is starting this from beginning, is not a professional by any stretch of the imagination. I read, again, a lot of books, lots of YouTube videos. I have learned so much, and like I said, I promise I will share some of the channels that I follow, because I really have gotten a lot out of them. Once I got to this process, once I got to this stage with these plants, I'm like, well, now what? I'm like, I assume I just keep cutting and they'll just keep growing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do what seems right, and I will share along the way with what works and what doesn't work. So without further ado, I'm gonna get to it. Let's go. All right, the first thing I'm gonna tackle today is the zinnia row. Again, I wanna come in here and I am going to put seeds in between. So I'm gonna create a third row in the middle here, and I am gonna drop seeds in between each of those plants. Really and truly, I think I can probably put even more in, but A, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough seed, and B, I'm almost wondering if that might be too much given the spacing I have already done. So the seeds I'm gonna plop in today, I discovered a lot of the gals are very much liking Johnny seeds. So once I discovered that I could put a lot more zinnias in here, I decided I was going to go ahead and go through Johnny seeds and pick up some more zinnia seeds. So I am going to be adding in the Sunbow mix and the Benary's Giant mix. So these aren't a specific color or variety. These are going to be mixed, which my planning brain has been a little bit hard to grasp, but it's okay. It's going to be lovely and it's going to be fine. So you can see we are using the landscaping fabric to see how it works for this year. So far it seems to be working out okay, other than the grass. When we cut the grass, collects in here, and that does drive me a little bit batty, but it is what it is. So my goal right now is to go ahead and drill holes and fill them in with some seeds. I know a lot of the people who use landscape fabric have kind of like a metal template and then they burn the holes into it. My husband said I got a better idea. He has rigged up his drill here with me with a hole cutting saw, which I actually run in reverse, because if you run it forward, it tends to just kind of grip the fabric, but running it in reverse gives just enough of an edge that it cuts the holes in. And yeah, so I will go ahead and set the camera up and I'll get going on this. Let's get to it. Okay, so let me share with you really quick what I did with the zinnia bed. You can see I took my drill bit and came down here and drilled all the extra holes. The thing is definitely quicker, but as you can see, every once in a while I got to stop and get all the
all the dirt out of it so it can keep drilling. So I went ahead and decided to do the Johnny Seed Benary Giant mix on the end here, because I actually know that those guys on the end, I think these guys maybe as well, are the Benary Giants. I bought those as plants though, they were not done from seed. So I decided to go ahead and do this one to keep the keep all the same mix on that end. So I decided to actually put 2 or 3 seeds in each hole. That's just being smart. This one does have a 97% germination rate, so the chances of them germinating is very good. However, I decided to err on the side of caution. I put 2 to 3 in each hole. That way I can always thin them out once they're of a decent size. I decided to go ahead and stop that right here. It's possible these are going to overshadow these guys at some point. If that happens, I'm okay with it. And then I started here with the other Johnny Seed mix, which was the Sunbow mix. That one only has an 86% germination rate. So I did again put 2 to 3 in each space, hoping that at least one of the bundle will germinate successfully. And then I ran out here of the seeds. I contemplated putting the Benaries down here, but again, because of the way my son moves, I didn't want to put anything too tall down here. So I had a couple left of these guys. These were ones I just bought at my local store. And again, these are more so the garden variety type, less of the cutting variety. They say that they're only going to get about a foot tall, which is what these existing flowers are as well. I will be very curious to see though, since I am spacing them a lot tighter than recommended, if at some point these start to push taller than what they say. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. So that guy is now filling in these handful of holes on the end here. And again, I am not going to water these guys in because we are expecting a 90% chance of rain this afternoon. So I will let Mother Nature take care of watering them in. And as per the directions, I sowed them about a 1/4 inch in the ground. And the Johnny Seeds said to, I think this is funny. It says cover lightly but firmly. So lightly and firmly are kind of two direct opposites to me. So I only did about a 1/4 inch of soil on top, gave them a little bit of pat, and hopefully that will be good. So that is the zinnia row done. Oh, I should also note, I did go ahead and remove those 3 plants that I recently purchased that are definitely having an infection. I decided it's not worth it. I can just put new seed in. I went ahead and removed these. These will go in the trash, not in your compost, because that's not something you want sharing into your compost. I debated even putting seeds into those spaces because I'll be honest, I'm not sure how that infection affects the soil. But I said, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I go ahead and pop seeds in them anyway. Again, tomorrow, these guys are due another treatment. And just for the record, I have been treating the whole row just to be precautionary. And I will even probably give a little squirt into the soil in each of these spaces. I don't know, maybe I'll have to research that before I do it, but just to be precautionary, I am treating everything. So yep, I yanked those out. Kind of sad, but it is what it is. And hopefully beautiful new healthy plants will grow in its place. Next up, the sunflower row. I have to think a little about this one first. I'll also really quickly say that I'm a little bit of a organized fanatic. And again, I'm also doing this for the purposes of remembering what I did next year. So I actually have a seasonal garden layout. This was a fantastic free printable. I'll have to see if I can find the website I got this from and link it below. But there's lots of great, garden notes, seasonal planting trackers. There's a lot of great things in here to keep yourself organized, and it was free, which I love free. So these are my beds that I had laid out, but I'm going ahead and making the changes. So I've gone ahead and added the extra spaces that I have now put in the zinnia garden, and I'm labeling what I'm putting in all the spaces. That way at the end of the season, I look back and say, yes, this worked really good. I really liked this variety did not work so well, and be able to make changes for this for next year. Okay, so let's talk about the sunflower situation here. Full disclosure, I'm about to make another cut flower garden mistake, but I'm gonna be okay with it for this year because I am strictly doing these flowers for my purposes. The mistake I am about to make is that these are not pollenless variety sunflower seeds. Generally, when you're doing cut flowers, apparently you want to lean towards the sunflower varieties that are pollenless, which are the Pro Cut flowers. These are all seeds, again, I picked up at my local place. I think I picked these up at Sweet Bay. And these are all varieties that I think are gorgeous and they're beautiful. So I am gonna go ahead and plant them anyway because these flowers are just for me. So if they end up dumping a bunch of yellow pollen on my kitchen table, I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna knowingly and willingly make this mistake today, but full disclosure, I wanted to just let you guys know that. Again, I have done some planning ahead of time on what I was planning on doing with this bed. Again, sorting them in height. Now, I am hoping and praying I'm remembering this correctly. These are all, if I remember correctly, multi-stem plants. So what that means is it's going to grow one stem with multiple shoots of flowers off of it. This one, again, I'm hoping I remember this correctly, the Velvet Queen, is actually single stem flowers. So that is going to grow one stem, one flower on it. So for cut flower purposes, I am actually going to do a succession plant on this guy. Plant a couple today, plant a couple more maybe in a week, and then and so on and so on and so on. Just so I hopefully always have something of that in bloom to cut. So these are the sunflower varieties. I'm doing Red Sun, Autumn Beauty, Indian Blanket, and Velvet Queen. Now what I'm going to do a little differently from when I created my plan here, I am actually going to do 3 rows because you can put these guys super close, and I am going to space them a lot closer. So it's just, you know, the spacing on my plan here, these are actually 1 foot spacing. I am going to push them much tighter, and I'm not going to do the landscaping fabric on these because they grow so densely. I am not going to be as worried about the weeds in it. I am also going to take a chance on hopefully not having any little critters that come in and take out the seeds. That is apparently a fairly common problem as well, is the squirrels and the birds and all the other critters. The rabbits like to dig the seeds up. While I know we have all those things in the area, I really have not noticed it being a problem with anything I've planted. So I'm gonna take a chance on it and go ahead and put the seeds in. So what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna draw 3 lines on the bed using a stick or something, and then just work my way down those lines and just start throwing seed in. It does not feel like there is a ton of seed in these, so we will get as far as we get, and you know, we'll figure it out from there. So here we go. Sunflower bed is started. Let me catch you up with what I did. I somewhat stuck to the plan, but I also somewhat kind of went willy-nilly with it. So you saw I went ahead and did 3 somewhat not so much straight rows, and I decided to go ahead and do about a 6-inch spacing in between each flower. I did only do single seeds in each hole. I'm not 100% concerned if every seed doesn't germinate, it'll be okay. I did make sure to retain extras of all the seeds, so in case I do have to fill in empty spots, I have that to do so. So on this end, again, this is the Velvet Queen. This is the single stem plant, I hope. So I only did 4 in each row, and I'm starting off with 12. And then I will come back in a week or so and do another 12 plants. So again, I will get a succession planting out of this and hopefully have some nice blooms. In the next section here, I did the Indian blanket, and I'm very high tech here with my popsicle sticks and Sharpie. So this next section here, same thing, 6 inches apart, 3 rows of the Indian blanket. Moving down the line is the Autumn Beauty, same thing, roughly 6 inches apart, 3 rows. And then the final section here are, gosh, I hope these work out because they are gorgeous. This is the Red Sun section. Same thing, roughly 6 inches apart. I eyeballed it. I didn't get too particular with this. You know, whereas I was so planning with everything going on over here, yes, I'm going a little more willy-nilly with the sunflowers. 2 reasons. You know, I feel like sunflowers are kind of willy-nilly, dare I say hippie-ish. And you know what, from everything I read and see, sunflowers are kind of they just go. So I'm not overly concerned about them. I planted them in tightly. That should help ensure nice tall growth, nice long stems. So time will tell. I figured I would also pop in here. I brought out this little mason jar that I talked about. This is a couple of the blooms that I have cut off of my flowers so far. Again, you know, I'm not getting super long stems on them right now, so this cute little mason jar works out perfect for them, and I enjoy them on my kitchen table. So here we have some dahlias. These bright orange colored guys, these are some of my zinnias. Turn it around so you can see the other side. The dahlias are just stunning. And then this little guy on top, this is not in my cut flower garden. This is actually in one of my front flower beds in my house. That is a yarrow, or yarrow. I've heard it pronounced a couple different ways, but how cute is that? I'm like, even if none of this works out, I've been making these absolutely adorable little arrangements to enjoy in my house. Every morning I kind of come out and cut some fresh ones and plop, you know, pull out something that's kind of far too gone and put something new in. So this is what my cut flower beds are producing so far. Still cute. So I think that's all I'm gonna cut and do in this video today. I feel like that's quite a bit to cover, but I really want to kind of catch you guys up on where everything is right now. I am also very much a hot mess. Y'all, this is gonna be raw and uncut Stacy. So you're gonna see me how I am when I'm playing in the dirt and when I am most happy. So I'm gonna leave it for today. Again, I'm not gonna water these guys. You can tell from our skies here, we are expecting 90% chance of rain this afternoon. So I'm not overly concerned that they're not gonna get watered. God forbid for some reason the clouds push over and we don't get any rain. I will give them a nice little drink this evening. So today we covered putting some zinnia seeds into the ground. We got the sunflower bed planted, and that's what we got done today, and that's quite a bit, and I'm okay with that. I'm off this weekend, so maybe we'll try and tackle the other chores. I may go ahead and get the snapdragon seeded. That's something I can do inside. So if I do that, I will bring you along for what I'm doing. And I still have dahlia tubers to get in the ground, but dahlia tubers don't like to get too wet when you first put them in the ground. So I might hold off putting those in today because we are expecting quite a bit of rain. So that project might wait for another day. So I hope you have enjoyed the start of this channel and the beginnings of my journey. I will try and bring you along as the journey progresses. I can't promise how often it's going to be,
I work, I have 4 kids, I have a lot of things going on, so I'm out here in the garden frequently. It's just a matter of if I'm going to remember to bring the camera along and film, and if I have time to edit to bring it to you. So I will do my best, and here's hoping all works out. I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and take care.